Well, B-movies inspire me because you've just got a massive array of sounds. There's so much soundtrack work within them. You know, it was just a time when people were just kind of doing anything in the movies. You know, you get a ridiculous synthesizer soundtrack to just a real oddball sounds that just occur for no reason. You know, it's that kind of inspires me. You know, there's a lot of sci-fi stuff to, pretty straight horror, like late 70s horror or like early 80s sci-fi is really good for kind of, your audio-visual aesthetic is pretty cool. I don't listen to, modern music really. I don't listen to much EDM or whatever it is. I don't really know what it is myself, Well, I was inspired by early Ortega, Tangerine Dream, Kraftwerk, a lot of old prog rock that my dad used to play. He used to play a lot of electronic music. I've got about 2,000 tapes at the minute. Some days I'd spend a day doing sampling 25 tapes, and some days I might just do one or two. Depends how many sounds are on them. I might watch the tape first and then just make a mental note of what's in it, instead of just actually going through it in real time and just sampling it as I go through. Usually make a few notes.
Really tight. This little sucker goes into overdrive. See what I mean? According to all our data, I've coded the remaining mutants, Alpha and Beta. Alpha was the one who attacked Elaine. I want him. Take Beta.
It's just, I always thought myself as a massive tape collector, and it just seemed like the right thing to call myself at the time. It's sort of like a double take really in the name. It's like a tape collector and the actual internal workings of a VCR. When you're sort of wandering around looking for tapes, you'd find all sorts of bizarre stuff on your way around. You'd find stuff like somebody's, wedding video, from 1998 or something, and all sorts of sort of instructional tapes you'd find that were probably a bit more interesting than just finding a movie with like a horror soundtrack on it. I'm still using software that's 12 years old. I've just become really comfortable with it. It's just sort of a progression in that kind of way. It's always stayed the same. I've just sort of found more samples on my way. You know, the process is still always the same. I always approach the music in the same way, using the same software. It's never changed in that way. It just depends on what kind of samples I've come across.
My name is Mandy. My mother is a firm believer that if you leave anything in the refrigerator for long enough, it turns into a person.
Persistence of vision is, you know, based around a lot of late night music making, because I spend, you know, most of my days working, so a lot of the music making is sort of late night. Each kind of track was, you know, based around a lot of sort of loops, taken from loops from film, like visual loops from films that I'd leave sort of like cycling around, and a lot of the tracks were done to a specific, you know, scene from a movie. Even though the track titles don't, you know, correlate to the actual what the film was or what the visuals were, it's captured from VHS, cut in time with the music, so sequenced live. Jealousy in Feral Africa, it's more about what you're sampling at the time. You know, not everything can be kind of sort of techno-y or whatever. Sometimes it's nice to have that relief within. I mean, some nights I might spend all night doing tracks like that are really slow and sort of melodic, and some nights it might be pretty chaotic. I've no idea where it's going to go in the future, but I know that Persistence of Vision was slightly more appealing than something that's quite harsh like Trademark was quite a hard album. Maybe it'll change in the future, I don't know. Well, I don't want everything to be appealing. You know, it depends, you know, what appeals to me at the time. I plan on making a hell of a lot more music. You know, the more tapes that I buy over the years, you know, I've got a massive backlog of samples that I've been archiving for the last 10 years. I mean, I've got so much that I can do with it. There's so many avenues that I can go down.